Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good afternoon. Good morning. And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope the show finds you in good spirits. We got some breaking news going on right now. I know a lot of people are very much focused on what's going on on the East Coast right now. Everything that's revolving around this whole Brown University situation. And now there's some updates there's a possibility that there is another unaliving that happened somewhere else, not very far from Brown University, that may be connected to this whole situation. So we got some stuff that we got to get into. This is some interesting breaking news stuff. We got to get into this, of course. So we're going to be talking about this. And there's apparently going to be a press conference at some point here. But now I'm hearing that maybe they might be hot on the trail of somebody, of a suspect. So this is going to be very interesting. And a lot of people, there's a lot of speculation hovering around this particular case. So do me a favor. Before we jump into everything, do me a solid, okay? Hit that like button down below. Crush the do what it do. Hit that reaction button, please, and thank you, okay? Of course, do not forget, if you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, make sure you hit that follow button over there, but also make sure you're subscribing to this YouTube channel, my main platform right here. Subscribe right here. Go over to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips, and my third channel, Pascal Raw. Subscribe to all three of those channels, please. All right. Hit that notification bell. Let me know, or hit that notification. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random. And a lot of times it's breaking news like this kind of stuff. Okay. So make sure you hit that notification bell. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Support the channel if you can. Check out my Patreon, and you can support even further over there as well. And of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. Go check it out. PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys, we got to get straight into this because at any moment there may be a press conference, and this is some very interesting stuff. Now, I don't know if you guys know about everything that has gone down, but there was a mass tragedy that happened out at at Brown University. Okay, in Providence, Rhode Island. And that's very important information to remember, because there may be a connection, as far as geographically speaking, there may be a connection to this tragic situation that happened to an MIT professor just about 50 miles, a little less than an hour away from Brown University. But just so we have this all kind of on the same, we're all on the same page, okay? There was a mass shooting that happened at Brown University, all right? And then on December 13th, 2025, just so you guys know, of this year. So it happened inside an engineering building, taking the lives of 2 students and injuring about 9 others. And they were all there during a study session, which is very interesting. And don't worry, we have a lot to talk about. Like, all the things that happened after is so strange because it doesn't make any bloody sense. All right. Now we know, obviously, everybody is in a tizzy right now because this particular assailant and possible assailants, there may be 2 now, remain at large. They're out here kicking rocks. Out here in these wilderness streets, they're out on the lam, y'all. And authorities are conducting a very intense and ongoing manhunt as of, today. They're still in the middle. Yep, today's the 18th. So they've been after this for a minute, y'all. Okay? They've been after this, and they've been trying to find out who this person is and where this person is at. In fact, let me show you some the footage. Okay? Let me show you a photo of what they sent out to the public. And don't worry, the press conference should be happening, I don't know, in the next maybe 20 minutes or so. I don't know. They were supposed to do a press conference way before I went live, and it never happened. So they must be hot on the trail of this assailant or not. I don't know. Or they just might be trying to piece their pieces together as best as they can. But I digress. Moving on, though. And of course, I want to show you guys this guy's. There it is. Like I said, it's like Charlie Brown wearing snow gear. You know what I mean? Like, this is the best they got, guys. This is the best that they got. Yeah, you know what's interesting? Everybody, people are really still talking about Dan Bongino quitting. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I then bet. See you on the internet. He's going back to his bliss. Do you understand? He's going back to what he loves. He's going back to getting on the microphone and talking that talk. That's it. He's like, I'd rather be a podcaster than be a deputy FBI director or, deputy director of the FBI. I'd rather just do that. I'd rather be a correspondent for Fox News, be on the radio, be on this microphone, and that's it. Ain't that interesting? But some news outlets are covering the updates revolving around this. So we are going to be jumping into that as well. Okay? It is an interesting situation. But just so you know, this guy right here, or he looks like a guy. All right? This could be female too. We don't know. But what we do know is that this particular assailant is still at large. Still remains at large, and authorities are still conducting an intense manhunt looking for this mother lover. They have no idea where this guy is unless they got him now. Okay, investigators have now released multiple security videos showing a masked person of interest near the campus before and after the tragedy, but a definitive ID or arrest has not been publicly confirmed. So we are still just kind of twiddling our thumbs. But this is why this press conference is very important, because this press conference could very well be the thing where they say, we got our guy, suspect has been identified, which apparently that's what they're saying right now. At least they're saying that in the news, that a suspect has been identified. But does that mean that they got their guy? We don't know. But what's very interesting about this as well, and let me pull this up too. We have an MIT professor that has lost his life out of nowhere on the 15th of December. So MIT professor Nuno Loureiro, I'm butchering his last name with all due respect. All right, but he was a professor at MIT. He was a well-regarded physicist and the director of the MIT's Plasma Science and Fusion Center. His life was taken. He was banged at his home in Brookline, Massachusetts, about 50 miles away from Brown University. So if you're driving pretty decently fast, you can get from Brown University to his crib in less than an hour. Light traffic, barely any traffic, just going maybe 10 miles over the speed limit. You could definitely get from Brown University to Brookline, Massachusetts, to his front door. I'm sure you can get to his crib in less than an hour. So now what's happening is that they're starting to piece the puzzle, and they're actually thinking that he's part of the puzzle when it comes to this Brown University situation as well, which in my personal opinion, is diabolical. Yeah. So this is interesting because he was also found with a GSW. He was taken to the hospital, and he later passed away. There's been no suspect publicly identified in this particular case as well. So that assailant is still at large. Now, the FBI and local authorities initially said they saw no link between the two cases, but apparently now they're saying there's a possible connection now. You have a new investigation being led that has happened over the last 24 hours, showing that law enforcement is actively examining whether this Brown University shooting and the unaliving of this MIT professor are actually connected. You got to remember, it's only less, we'll just say an hour away. Okay. It's literally about an hour away from each other. It's really easy for somebody to jump into a ride, rental, or whatever, go from Brown University and head straight over to Brookline, Massachusetts. Pretty easy to do it. It's not a long journey. It's not like this assailant drove from New York to LA. But within 2 days, they've showed up to this man's home, allegedly, and pulled the trigger and took this man's life. Let me say allegedly. So detectives are now working both cases. And they have apparently have been like sharing information and comparing evidence, which obviously now has prompted this review and this possibility that these two cases, these two tragedies could be connected. What's going on here? I have no idea. Okay. Sources are telling multiple outlets that a person of interest has been identified who may be tied to both incidents, though no official suspect has been named. Like the name has not been released at all. And agencies have not publicly confirmed any match to any of these tragedies, that they have not said, oh yeah, this is definitely connected. But we're supposed to be having a press conference here soon. And within this press conference, they might be saying, oh yeah, these are connected. Now, what's interesting about this is let's go back. Let's go back to this. My question is, what does, and this sounds weird, unless there's something connected here, okay? What does an MIT professor of plasma science and fusion have anything to do with the mass tragedy at Brown University? So Professor Nuno Loureiro, hopefully I'm saying his last name correctly, loses his life. He is a well-regarded physicist at MIT. He's the director of the MIT Plasma Center and Fusion, or Plasma Science, and Fusion Center. Why? How would there be a connection between these two? Something seems a little bit odd, don't you think? Or am I the only one who's looking at this and going, is there some sort of connection here? And also, let's see. The Brown University situation, right? The tragedy happened inside the engineering building, didn't it? This happened inside the engineering building, where this assailant walked into this room. Students are in there studying, and then they just started blasting, and then they ran off, right? Then they showed up to this guy's crib, ding dong, blasted him. He is the professor. He's a professor in the head of this specific department, but it's not engineering. It's physics, plasma science. What's the connection here? Now, here's the other thing. Wasn't there something that happened overseas just recently? I'm not talking about Venezuela. I'm talking about like Iran or something of that sort. Wasn't there some sort of attack or something that happened somewhere? Like literally, it just happened just a few days ago. And didn't it have something to do? Didn't it have something to do with nuclear something nuclear or something like that. Something scientific. I'm just trying to remember. No, and it's not Australia. Yes, Australia was absolutely devastating as well. And actually, hold on, hold on. Let me just Google Nuno. Let me just check something real quick. Because Nuno, he's from Portugal. So hold on. What we know about MIT nuclear physicist Nuno Loureiro. Hold on. Let me pull this up for you guys. Just give me a second. And let me check on this press conference. Still no dice. Nothing so far. But I think that this is something that really matters, right? Yes, he's not Jewish. He is not from Israel. He is from Portugal. But he's a well-regarded physicist and the director of the MIT's Plasma Science and Fusion Center. So what's up with that? And then why would that have anything to do with this mass tragedy that happened at Brown University? What's the connection? You know, I have one knee-jerk thought in my head, knee-jerk reaction. It's just an assumption, may have nothing to do with anything. Okay, there may be no connection here at all. But the only thing I can think of is they wanted to take out Nuno for some weird reason, but they needed a distraction. So they went to Brown University. They went to which is weird. It's like, why not just go to MIT then? But they went to Brown University, opened fire, and then pulled up to his house. Maybe to blanket him as a targeted attack? Maybe? Hold on. Let me put this in. Nuno. I have an article here. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Wow. Wow. So he is? Wait a second. Colleagues described him as a beacon of hope. Portuguese newspapers stumbled upon his story by chance. The scientific community was shaken to its core. The political establishment in Portugal set aside a minute for him, a single paltry minute. Let's see. Something doesn't add up. Call me paranoid. This is somebody just writing this in the Times of Israel. Moving on. I don't see anything about him being Jewish, but given the fact that they are. Sorry, one second, y'all. That's the Times of Israel. Hold on, let me see something here. What are the odds of a Portuguese scientist Jewish and specializing in nuclear engineering? So he is Jewish. What in the hell's going on? What? Okay, so it says, according to the Times of Israel, they're saying that he's Jewish. Then they say the Jerusalem Post. I'll just show this to you guys too, so you guys can see this. Shoot, this is getting thicker than a snicker. Shamalama ding dong. What is going on with this world, y'all? The world is going down in a barrel of burning cat piss. I'm telling you right now, what is going on with this world? Well, look, MIT nuclear scientist Nuno Loureiro unalived inside his Brookline home. Blah blah blah. He was actually shot multiple times, y'all, in his home. There it is, Nuno Loureiro. a Jewish nuclear scientist at MIT, was unalived inside of his home in the town of Brookline, near Boston. He was found critically injured due to gunfire inside his residence. He was rushed to the hospital nearby, where he was pronounced unalived in the early morning hours. He was hit several times as well, according to information released by authorities. Norfolk County District. I can't say that word. I don't know why I have a hard time saying that word. It just sounds dirty when I say it out loud. But anyway, the Norfolk County District's Attorney's Office said the circumstances surrounding this unaliving are still being examined, and there's no additional details that have been released regarding a suspect or a possible motive. The investigation is still ongoing. So what in the hell is going on here? Oregon Beat News Media just said, breaking news alert, we have been confirmed by news media outlets that helicopters are flying around Stonehill College, wherever that is. Uh-oh. Yo, I got questiones, like it's like a ravioli. Questiones. I got questiones. Okay. What in the hell is going on here? But it's not like they went into the school and said, Brown University, are you Jewish? Bang, are you Jewish? Like, it's not like they did that. They just walked in and started blasting. So there's a part of me that thinks that this man right here, let me just pull this up here really quick. This man right here was the initial target, but Brown University was the cover-up. That's the only theory I have right now until they say something different. But think about that for a second. If this is indeed connected, again, only if this is indeed connected, what are the chances of them actually going, nah, we can't go straight to him. We got to do something and then that, so that they don't think that there's something going on. You see what I'm saying? Now, with everything with Bondi, like what happened in Australia, that whole situation, because again, it's not like they're going over to people and saying, hey, man, Brown University, you Jewish? No? Okay, you live. Like, they're not doing that. They're going in and they're just blasting people, and then they run off. Here's the other thing, too, that they're saying that there's a possibility that there's more than two people, or there's more than one person, which is also something I find extremely interesting, don't you think? So again, I got questions, guys. We got some news clips to look at while we wait for this press conference. But again, what in the heck is going on? Oh, and by the way, hold on. Hold on. Oregon Beat News Media. I'm going to look into that about this Stonehill College. Where are you seeing this? Like, where are you getting this update, Oregon? I'm curious about that, because that is very fascinating. If there are helicopters flying around a particular area, they must be circling in on somebody. But I also want to say this before we go into this video here. I just want to take a moment and just say this. It's been really sloppy. Like, this whole investigation has been absolutely sloppy as hell. So if there's something much bigger going on here and they are slipping up this bad, this is terrifying. Because what if there's some other things that are planned to go down that are about to go down, but it just hasn't gone down yet? You feel me? That concerns me greatly. Let's go over to Fox News and see what they're talking about.
I've shot in Providence, Rhode Island. You can see they are setting up the mics, and everyone hoping that we're going to get some new information. There's been a lot percolating out of this case today. We're going to find out what's
She just took my words. She said percolating.
real, what isn't, what these folks know. I mean, this is an intense manhunt that is going on now into day 5, searching for the shooter who made his way into a Brown University lecture hall and shot down and killed 2 beautiful young students. Police are looking for this man. We have all been looking at these images of him over the past several days. They want to question him. He was caught on security cameras. And then there's also a person of interest, someone who was, quote, in proximity of that person of interest. Investigators also say they do have some new evidence that includes DNA. Killed in that room, these beautiful, bright, young American students, 19-year-old Ella Cook from Alabama. She was vice president of the Brown College Republicans. 18-year-old Mohammed Aziz Umarzokov from Virginia. He was hoping to become a doctor. He wanted to go to medical school here. So let's bring in Paul Morrow, retired NYPD inspector, attorney, Fox News contributor, live on this.
Hold on, let me just say this really quick. I'm reading this off camera, just or off screen really quick. But they're saying that there is Massachusetts State Police currently hovering over an area south of Brockton, northeast of Bridgewater. Police are appear to be zeroing in on the actual Brown University suspect. So that might be the reason why there's such a hiccup, a slowdown of the situation. So this is very interesting. But I'm going to continue letting this play, but I'm keeping an eye to make sure that the press conference does happen, doesn't happen, that kind of thing. Actually, let me just do this real quick and just check again. Still nothing yet. But when it does happen, I will let you guys know. But what I do find very interesting is that we have two people that have lost their lives that may be connected, or I'm sorry, not two people. One person that lost their life in a completely different area that may be connected to this whole situation as well, which is scary if you really think about it. Is it because of his religion? I don't know, but let's see.
Seen in Providence, Rhode Island, talking to a lot of folks there. Paul, what can you tell us? What is anything really feeling like it's breaking in this case today?
Martha, it does. I've been here now 4 or 5 days, working sources, talking to the people on the ground, the cops, some of the officials here, and I can tell you that by far today is the buzziest day, for lack of a better term. They do feel that they're making progress. They're guarded about what they're saying and what progress means. But I can tell you that at the very least, I confirmed last night that they did discover live rounds at the scene. Why does that matter? Because live rounds will have hopefully DNA that's not degraded from having been fired, because you have to use your hands to put those bullets into the gun, and you'll leave DNA. So even if that is not a clue that matches to a particular person through the databases, et cetera, they could potentially use familial DNA to try to get there, as we saw in the Koberger case. Or if they make an arrest by more old-fashioned means, let's say from video, from a tipster, something like that, you can then use that evidence to confirm during a prosecution, because this could have been a tough case to prosecute. So if and when they get someone, and I think they're going to get there, this is going to be important evidence. I do feel they're making progress.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, real quick, Oregon, thank you so much for the update here. Breaking news, CBS News reporting, they have a search warrant. They have an identification of the suspect. This is from CBS News. That's why the press conference is delayed. Hold on. We gonna say goodbye to Fox for a hot minute and bring in CBS News, because this was posted about 56 minutes ago. So this is pretty fresh. Let's take a look.
Boston's coverage from Providence, Rhode Island, of course, covering the CBS News confirmation that police have identified a person of interest wanted in connection with this deadly shooting at Brown University on Saturday. I want to go ahead now and go to the head of our crime and policing unit, Anna Schechter, who is here with me in Studio 57. We'll go to Rodney Harrison in a little bit, law enforcement expert. But Anna, first of all, we heard Penny Commit there talking about the possible link between the shooting that happened Saturday at Brown University, 2 students tragically killed, and the fatal shooting of the M.I.T professor, that there might be a connection. What is your reporting?
Well, our reporting is that law enforcement are looking at a possible connection. Remember, they are working round the clock. They're going through surveillance imagery, license plate readers, license plate reader cameras that are taking images in and around the streets, the vehicles in and around Brown University, and in and around this neighborhood in Brookline where the professor lived, also in and around MIT. And so they are looking for leads. And so this is yet another lead. It's another lead in a series of leads that until, they have not been panning out. So let's see how this plays out. But, this is potentially some movement. Investigations like this are really hard, especially after that 24-hour period passes. The assailant has had time to leave the area. It takes time. We are on day 6 now out from the Brown shooting that killed 2 students and injured 9 others. A little bit more than 48 hours later, you had the assassination of the MIT professor. We were talking earlier, this comes amidst a week of huge, tragic news stories around the country and around the world, including a terror attack in Australia. So it's one thing after another. There's been a lot of speculation online. And right now what we're doing is we're just following the facts, and we want to be careful because this is a lead. This is another lead. And of course, law enforcement are looking, given the fact that the lead is leading them to want to take a look at a potential connection between the shooting at Brown University and the shooting of this beloved MIT professor who we just heard from our station there, lived in that apartment with his family. We don't have any reason to believe at this time that it was a politically motivated attack on him, and we are waiting to hear more. Authorities have released absolutely no information about a potential motive there.
So we were just showing the surveillance video that law enforcement enhanced and released of a person of interest. Doesn't give the public a whole lot to go on. And we don't know how law enforcement made this identification. Could it be that they identified the person that was seen in close proximity that they released yesterday? Could that person have led them? Could somebody have recognized the particular clothing or the gait? But this, as far as surveillance imagery goes of a person of interest, not the most helpful to the public.
That's true, but it's painstaking work. The image quality is not that great. So what police were wanting to do is to fill in those pieces of the puzzle, because they had only the very beginning of the puzzle. They had the person of interest who they believe carried out the shooting walking in the residential neighborhood near the building, that engineering building on MIT's
law enforcement?
Okay, so real quick, here it is, because I know some people are like, I don't get there's a connection. I don't get the connection. There may not be a connection at all. My theory, this is just my theory right now. It could be wrong. I could be Candace Owens my ass off right now, real talk. But here it is. The theory in my mind is, what if that was a red herring? What if the mass tragedy at Brown University was them trying to do their own version of the Kansas City Shuffle? Kansas City Shuffle's called basically when they make you look left while you go right. That's basically it. It's just like, hey, look over here. And then they go and do something else somewhere else. So then everyone's focused over here. Oh, my Lord, the tragedy. Of course, understandably, everyone's going to be focused on that. Like, oh, my Lord, clutch my pearls, that kind of thing. But then later, they go and they attack somewhere else. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, such a tragedy. But over here, though, isn't that what we all been doing? Isn't that what we all been doing right now? Everybody has been really, I said Candace Owens, diggity damn. You know what I meant, Candace Owens. But here it is. Everybody and their mama, understandably, has been very focused on what happened at Brown University, because the feds, well, the 5-0 has been dropping the ball, baby. This is the same. Oh, dear God. Why does everything have to go back to this conversation? But it's like what happened with Charlie Kirk and when he lost his life. And they go, we got the assailant, everybody. That's how we do it over here, the FBI. FBI stands for America. You see what I'm saying? And then they're like, yeah, that's what it stands for. Wait, what? Wait, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? We got the wrong guy? Damn. Okay. Well, we still on it. We don't have the right guy, but we're working on it because FBI. Shoot. Let me try that again. Because FBI stands for America. You see what I'm saying? And then what happened again? We got our guy, We got our guy. We're about to take him in and wrangle him up, and he's going to be getting hit with the justice, with the full extent of the laws. Wait, what? Sorry, what? What do you mean? What? That's not the guy. My bad. We're still working on it, but we still the FBI because FBI stands for America. That's exactly what happened, man. And then look at what's going on now. Same situation. They got a guy. We got our guy. FBI stands for America. That's not the guy too. What? Well, let's go through all the let's go through all the snow. Let's stand link arm to arm and go through the snow and keep kicking the snow like this as we're going through the front lawn of this building. What crack have they smoketh? What crack have they smoketh? What kind of investigation is that? You see what you picking up what I'm putting down? Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. And now we're back in the same situation again where these assailants, possible two, because they came out recently saying that there was two, that there's possibly two. So there's two people possibly, we don't even know. They don't even know what end is up. Running them up, causing muertes everywhere. What's going on? Oh, no, this isn't liberal talk. This is common sense, baby. Common sense. Brought to you by The Pascal Show. Yeah, common sense. And the best they got are photos and video from outside the mother-loving Brown University building of some rotund individual walking around with a COVID mask and a beanie on. Could be it could be Tim Pool. I'm kidding. It's not. But at the same time, it could be anybody, for crying out loud. We don't know who the hell this is. But welcome to our world. What's going on with this investigation? See, this is the reason why I feel that someone of the likes of Dan Bongino said, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. This ain't working out the way I wanted it to work out. We are looking like fools out here. This is not how things should be operating. I mean, I'm not in his head. I'm not the one, I didn't read his resignation papers. But it is very interesting that while all of this mucky muck is mucking up, that the deputy director of the FBI says, I'm gone. He chucked up them deuces and he left like Chris Brown. What's going on here? It doesn't make sense to me, guys. It doesn't. It just doesn't. And I'm not sitting here saying like, oh, it's all part of some sinister plan and they're doing it. They allowed this to happen so that the professor could die. No, I'm not saying that at all. But something is weird about the investigations here. I thought they were a lot more butthole tight than this. A lot more airtight, watertight, whatever you want to call it. Just tight than this.
Think that person of interest was doing? Do they know?
Wearing the black mask, dressed in dark clothing, walking quickly in one clip, and walking in and out of frame in another clip. In fact, there's one clip where the individual is walking. It was like the streets come to a point and there was somebody else walking. You can see, you can't identify who it is. And the person they believe is the person of interest who carried out the attack, who they believe carried out the attack, took off running. So that was interesting, but they didn't have the connective tissue to piece together the path of flight. So they were trying to find, did he enter a vehicle?
Fine.
Did he enter a residence or a business?
Fine.
They had very little to go on. And at this point in the investigation, they do not have a slam dunk. They are looking at a potential connection. That's where we're at. And that is based on their painstaking work of collecting all this imagery that is out there, and it's terabytes of imagery. And they've been going slowly looking at images of, are there things that look similar about these two locations? And they're looking at that.
There is so, and I agree. Somebody just said it. I saw in the corner of my eye. Where the hell did that go? Somebody said, yeah, Craig from Craigslist. Oh, man. Is that still around, Craigslist? Anyway, Brown University has an endowment of $9 billion and yet so few camera angles of suspect. That's weird. Remember, I'm sitting there going, you mean to tell me that there aren't even cameras inside the hallways of the university? At least even that? How about this? Let's water it down even more. What about just cameras for the entrance of the buildings? Every single building for the university. There's no footage of that. So this guy walked in, or this assailant, we don't know if it's female or male, could be male, could be female, walked into this building, no cameras at all, walked into a classroom, opened fire, left, and they have no footage of this assailant at all? And that's on them too. You see what I'm saying? That's on them. That's on Brown University too. It's not only just FBI, like just making some very weird decisions here. It's also Brown University and their lack of security precautions, security protocol, and infrastructure for their university to make sure that not only the higher ups are safe, but also their employees, the staff, and their students that matriculate at that school. And some of those kids aren't on some sort of scholarship. They're dropping buckets of money to go to that school. Brown University ain't cheap. It is for show, not cheap. And all these people aren't safe? That's weird, man. That is weird. Hold on now. We will come back to that. I just want to see what's popping off over here. Hold on. Yeah, and they're just going to sit, like some places, they're just going to sit and wait. Some people will just sit and wait for this press conference if there is going to be a delay. Because you never know. They might just hop up any moment and just do the press conference with no heads up, right? Oh, I was this one over here. Where is it? Yeah, I mean, they're keeping it up. Like, I want to keep it real. I'm going to keep it a bean with y'all. They are still, just so you can see, I hate that feature. They are still doing this. I mean, they haven't turned anything off. Holly just said, Pascal, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The devil is loose and things are going to get worse. Read the Bible. Read the Bible. I'll take a look. I'll peruse through scripture anytime. But I mean, I don't know. This is just so odd. It's been bad for a while. Like, Holly, it's been bad for a while. Come on now. It's been bad for a long while. Years. More than just a few years. So I mean, if it is something biblical, then it's been a slow trickle, biblically speaking. I thought the biblical stuff kind of comes in like a tidal wave, you know what I mean? Like a tsunami, all bad things all at the same time. Boom, fire and brimstone, you know what I'm saying? But this is a very, 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 very slow trickle. It feels like a lot because there's a lot of bad going on all at the same time, but it's been a lot of bad going on consecutively without giving up for years, you know? If something's coming, it's already been here. I just want to let you know. Like, it's already here. You feel me? It's already here. It's already arrived, you know? Let me see here. Let's see. Let's take a look at this here too. You know, I know me people. I know me people. But okay, so investigators believe they have identified the suspect, and this is about 48 minutes ago that they put this up. They believe that they have identified a suspect in the Brown University unaliving, or the tragedy, I'm sorry. So investigators believe they identified the suspect in this situation, according to 2 law enforcement officials familiar with the case. Authorities have a signed warrant, for the individual's arrest and are currently seeking him. So that's the reason why there's a little bit of a delay. They have not obtained this mother lover yet. They're trying to get this mother lover, but they haven't gotten him yet, right? I'll take a look at that, Allie. Okay. And Blind Spot just said, I think you said live press conference. Brown University, 10 minutes. Okay. Has been spotted going through Boston towards New Hampshire. Okay. Okay. Let me see what's going on here. First off, Boston 25. Let's take a look. Let's see what that's all about. Actually, one second. Okay. Boston 25. And then what's also really crazy is that Epstein photos more photos have come out on Epstein, which are, some of them are not great. I will tell you that. Not great at all. Hold on. Give me a second, guys. Okay, so breaking news update, police activity in Salem, New Hampshire. Take a look at this, baby. And this is from, you just said Ted Daniel and Bob Ward. This is from Ted Daniel. Let's take a look at this.
Occurred sometime. 25 investigates the suspected Brown University shooter has been identified. 25 investigates has learned the identification.
Crappy resolution, but you get the news. That's all that matters.
Occurred sometime late Wednesday, and authorities have been looking for him ever since. As far as we are aware, the suspect has not been located, and we have not been provided a name. I'm Rachel Keller.
And I'm Mark Ackerblum. Today's briefing that was scheduled for 4 o'clock, that was postponed suddenly. No rescheduled as yet. And we have, of course, a full crew out chasing this story, also talking to their sources. So let's start it off with Boston 25 investigative reporter Ted Daniel, who joins us live. He is down in Providence. And Ted, what are you hearing right now?
Mark, I'm told that a briefing will happen. They just don't have a time on it right now.
Great.
We've been reporting over the last couple hours. We got word that the investigation into the Brown University shooting took authorities to Massachusetts. My understanding is that they were in the Boston area beginning around 2 this afternoon. We don't know the current status of that, whether they finished the work that they were doing in Massachusetts in the Boston area and moved on, or if they're still working in that area right now. But over the last sort of 18 hours, all this information has started to unfold. I learned.
That's weird. Hold on. Why did it pause, man? Why did that pause? That's weird. Hold on. Did they remove it or something? That was so odd.
25
Let's try that again.
the suspected Brown University shooter.
Now, as with the shooting, we don't know the current
Try that again.
of that, whether they finished the work that they were doing in Massachusetts and the Boston area and moved on, or if they're still working in that area right now. But over the last sort of 18 hours, all this information has started to unfold. I learned today that investigators started getting the pieces of the puzzle together last night, and they got a good lead, my understanding, sometime around 6 o'clock, and then by shortly before maybe midnight, they were able to identify the person that they're looking for. And so there is this all-out search for this person. And of course, it has expanded with the reporting and our understanding that there could be a link between the shooting at Brown and the shooting of an MIT professor in Brookline. That MIT professor was an expert in fusion energy, a preeminent expert in the world. And you have to wonder what is going on here and what would make him a target, what would make these students who were just all in for a study session all together, what would make them targets? But it's certainly odd, and the information is coming in spits and in just bits and drabbles, just little pieces of information, and we're trying to get it to you as quickly as possible.
I mean, this is all very frustrating because obviously we're still waiting to find out what the heck is going on. Of course, we'll get more information when it actually comes out. But I feel like they're like, nope, we're not doing another press conference until we actually apprehend this person. But one thing is for sure, they got to really make sure that they got the right guy this time. I'm just going to say it. I'm sorry. This will be a very bad look if they sit there and go, yeah, we got the culprit. Well, wait, we don't. We have the wrong guy. You don't want that to happen. You really don't want that to happen, y'all.
But I can tell you right now, law enforcement is actively searching for the man that they believe is the shooter in the Brown University shooting that occurred on Saturday.
Ted, watching this unfold, it does remind you a lot of 2013 and the marathon bombings and the pursuit of the Tsarnaev brothers, when you think about it, in the sense that, you had these people they were looking for. When the pictures go out, they get enhanced. People start to move. In their case, that's what they did. And then you can commit an error along the way because you're trying to run from everybody. And what are you thinking about that as you covered that as well?
Yeah, this has certainly captivated New England and I think the nation. The fact that you have this, unfortunately, these mass shootings in the United States are all too common. This one, though, it certainly is all that I've been hearing about from family and friends over the last few days. Just, this is a prestigious university, Brown, MIT, also a prestigious university. And it just seems absolutely I guess the word is bizarre, the way things have been unfolding over the last few hours, and the fact that they are trying to get this guy. In the case of the Johar Tsarnaev, who was the Boston bomber who was caught, it was an alert Watertown suspect who, said hey, there's something going on in my backyard. And that may be the situation here where someone calls authorities and sees something that or somebody who may resemble at least the body type of the shooter, the pictures that we've been seeing of the suspected shooter, that may be something that will help law enforcement. But it seems right now that they have a very good idea of what they're looking for, and some of the links surrounding that. It's just actually making the capture, Mark and Rachel.
25 investors.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We so much going on, and they have not. I mean, they're saying police activity. Let's take a look at this too. Okay, let's take just a quick gander at this as well. Police activity in Salem, New Hampshire, connected to the manhunt for this Brown University. I'm sorry, I keep on saying Boston University, but Brown University assailant. So they're saying now, this is the update as of 15, 20 minutes ago or so. They're saying multiple law enforcement sources have told Boston 25 News There's an ongoing police activity connected to the search for the suspected monster or assailant in Salem, New Hampshire. A more precise location has not immediately been provided. So they're saying that this activity began in the Boston area around 2 p.m. Today, and they're still trying to get this mother lover. So again, this is what the heck is going on. And I get it that they still have like a lot to zero in on. They still need to get this guy and all that, but we are still trying to find out what the heck is going on here too, right? But let us continue because there's more info. Let's see what they say here. Because that was from Boston 25. So thank you guys so much for that suggestion. And that was posted about 2 minutes ago when I read that. So it's now about 10 minutes old. Yeah. And then now they're talking about Rob Reiner. Yeah, there's a lot of chaos going on out here in these streets, y'all. There is so much chaos. 1 minute it's hold on. 1 minute it's this assailant in in Brown University or at Brown University. Then it's another thing. I mean, it just doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop. A plane went down with a former NASCAR driver. That just happened. May he and those that were in that plane rest in peace. I heard about that as well. I mean, like I said, it's if it's not one thing, it's something else. Every 5 minutes, it feels like. It's insane. I mean, I could literally go live from the 8 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. Because it's just there's just so much going on. There's just not enough time to even breathe. There's not even enough time to go eat a sandwich. It's crazy. Let's see what News Nation is saying. And I heard something. Speaking of News Nation, I heard something crazy like Ashley Banfield is leaving News Nation. What? That was shocking information I heard. And Holly, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. No, this is the reason why, I'll take a break here and there, That's why I don't do live shows for 11 hours. I'd lose my mind. I'd lose my mind. There's so much going on. But yeah, apparently, I mean, that's what the rumor mill is saying. That's what people are saying out here in these internet streets. I don't know if it's entirely true, but I'm surprised if it's true. I'm shooketh. Okay, what's a sandwich? A sandwich. A sandwich. Okay, 2 pieces of bread, something in the middle of those breads. You bite on it. It's called food. It's also that thing that you're eating. That's called a sandwich. Okay? I just said sandwich for comedy's sake.
This is breaking news on all of this, and it also comes from our News Nation station in the area, WPRI. They're reporting the authorities have now identified a person of interest they're seeking in connection with the shooting at Brown University. This is confirmed now to WPRI. The name of the individual not yet released by officials. The briefing we were scheduled to have carried live for you at 4 p.m. Eastern delayed. It's now 4:22. So we'll see. What they're saying now is at some point in the evening, they will have a briefing. But the big news, and Geraldo is back with us along with Laura Bauman on this, is that they have identified the person of interest. So, all right, Laura, you first on this. So that's the person, and then Geraldo, you first on this, Laura. That's the person walking around, presumably. That's the person of interest, guy with the mask, green jacket. Now they know who it is. What do you say?
It's going to be interesting to find out whether this was a professional or amateur, because if you look at the route that he took, that was not a professional route.
Meaning what? We have that map. Pop it up from the tablet, guys. I have it right here. Okay. So what Laura's talking about, you say route. So they had this area focused dark blue lines. You're talking about in here, right? So this particular area, I can kind of zoom on. It's a little, just, residential neighborhood, zigzagging. What do you say?
Yeah, if that were a professional, it would, there's something called a surveillance detection route, and it's all based on time, distance, and change of direction. Every intelligence officer, law enforcement officer, and criminal pretty much knows what that looks like. And imagine sort of a big Z is what it would look like, and that is not that.
Interesting. Geraldo, what about this? That's interesting on the route, and also that apparently they know who they're looking for.
Well, the New York Times is reporting that they have identified, the authorities have identified a person of interest and are investigating the possible connection. So the Times at least is confirming that that link. They say that there is a rental car involved. The same make and model of the car identified in connection with the shooting of the MIT professor. So they're linking a vehicle between the two scenes. So this is a blockbuster news that there is this purported or alleged link between these two horrible crimes. And one of the links is the rented vehicle, same make and model, identified in connection with the shooting of the MIT professor. So Brown and MIT linked there. So kind of, I think that you're going to be unless there's a massive screw up here. It seems as if this pause may be a good thing to make sure they get all the I's dotted and T's crossed, because it's clear that there has been major movement in the last couple of hours having to do at least with this rental vehicle in common, maybe make and model at least, and the DNA we spoke about earlier this afternoon.
Once you have a car, right, Laura, they're taking pictures of our license plates pretty much everywhere we go. I mean, that we hadn't heard that until now. Once you have a car, you can track someone much easier, right?
Yeah. And what a huge relief for the communities, even if the location of the person has not been confirmed, at least knowing who that person is relatively speaking, amid these horrible crimes, a good thing.
Sure. I mean, wouldn't you rather know exactly? Like, it's one thing, sure, it's comforting to know that they know the person, that they've identified the person. But what about everybody else, though? What about us? What about us? No, seriously, think about it. It's great that the FBI and the feds, 5-0 knows the name and the face. But what about all of us, though? What about all of us that are out here in these streets? Wouldn't it be nice to put their face out there and let everybody know this is the culprit, just so you know? They are still at large. This is what they look like, whilst they're trying to zero in and take this mother lover down. But no, they don't want to do that right now. You want to know why they don't want to do that right now? I'll tell you why they don't want to do that right now. Because they want to take all the credit. That's all it is. They want to wrangle this culprit themselves and say, without the help of the public, without the help of anybody, we were able to go and take this mother lover down. But what if they were to put that out and just let everybody know, hey, for those of y'all who might be in the Salem, New Hampshire area, just so you know, keep an eye out for this assailant. Then, hey, that actually helps zero things in, because if rotund, portly looking, mother loving Charlie Brown looking ash is walking around in your area and you just happen to see him, you can call 911 and go, I see him. I seen him. He's right here. That's it. That's it. It would help. Then everyone could keep their heads on a swivel and look in their area. Or stay home, lock doors, and stay out of the trouble. So I don't know, y'all. I guess second time or third time, I think it's the second time's a charm, right? So this better be the dude. And they better get this guy right now. Speedy Gonzalez wants his promotion. Ouch.
Can you say again for Geraldo's purpose, Laura,
Sure.
what intrigued you about the professor in terms of his career?
Yeah, and Geraldo, I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. I mean, he was studying or an expert in plasma and nuclear science. And based on my time running a big part of counterintelligence at the Department of Energy, I know for a fact that scientists are part of our global national security competition. I mean, in 2023, Russia arrested two scientists accused of spying for China, and both of them are now dead. So this is serious business. We don't know that the MIT professor was involved in something like this, but it's not far-fetched to watch that closely.
Right, I'm kind of putting that together. Obviously speculative now. We're waiting for the update. We don't know. There's not confirmed information. Obviously, Geraldo. Right. Thank you.
Yeah, you see he was backtracking that info. He's like, oh, wait. We don't know if that's the speculation right there. So let's not say anything too crazy yet. We don't know if there's any connection to any of this ish, but it is interesting nonetheless. All of the things that we have been seeing as of late when it comes to the Bondi tragedy, that mass tragedy in Bondi Beach, Australia. Then we have another situation that happened. I can't remember the location, but there was a huge attack on some sort of, I think maybe it was an Iranian nuclear, I don't remember. And I could be misquoting or missaying the actual location or country, but it was something big. And then you have, now you have a Jewish professor of physics that was the director of MIT's Plasma Science and Fusion Center losing his life at days after this mass tragedy that happened at Brown University. Is there a connection here? I'm kind of curious. I'm just taking this little trip down memory lane because a couple days ago there was a whole plan of a huge plot that FBI claims that they have thwarted. There were apparently some Terrys wanting to do some bad things like making things go up in flames on New Year's Eve. I just want you guys to see this. Maybe, I don't know. Is there a connection to any of this or not? Let's take a look.
So the FBI arresting 4 alleged members of a far-left, pro-Palestinian, anti-government, and anti-capitalist group accused of plotting New Year's Eve bombings, targeting at least 5 separate locations across Los Angeles. First Assistant U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California, Bill Asaley, joins us now. Bill, thanks so much for joining the program. A great operation by the men and women of the United States government. Tell us about the plans of these terrorists. Who are they going after?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, this is an anti-government, that you call them communists or anti-capitalists.
So again, I don't know if this is at all connected, but they say they thwarted some huge plot to do something really bad on New Year's Eve. Just a few days ago, we had a mass tragedy that happened at Brown University. A day or two before that, we had the situation that happened at Bondi Beach, Australia. I know that is completely on the other side of the world, but at the same time, the attack was very serious. Could all of this be connected? Now, just so you guys know, I just read through an article earlier in the show saying that this physicist, Nuno Loureiro, is Portuguese and Jewish as well. He's from Portugal and he is Jewish. That's what they're saying. Now, if that's actually correct, wild stuff, right? But, and again, this whole terror plot for New Year's Eve is very, very serious. So, and I don't know, like I said, I don't know if this is all connected, but this is insane. Let's take a look. I'm just playing this for you guys so you just know about it.
They had a plan on New Year's Eve to attack at least 5 locations throughout Southern California and Los Angeles and Orange County. They wanted to start with logistic warehouses, think like Amazon-type facilities, really strike at the heart of commerce. And from there, they had plans to also attack ICE agents and ICE vehicles to dissuade them from doing immigration enforcement. So they had various ambitions, but what is unique to them is they do encourage political violence and they discourage peaceful protesting.
So I want to show our audience a few things right now. This is the testing site that, they planned this and coordinated, and they actually had, and you guys were able to surveillance this for a period of time. They also had these signs that really show a cross-reference of what they believe. They're anti-ICE, anti-police, pro-Palestinian. So let's talk about the motive here.
Yeah.
What group would you say they are a part? Are they just far left? Are they anarchists? Are they Antifa? Who are they?
That's a great question. So this particular group is part of an organization called the Turtle Island Liberation Front. Turtle Island is what some Native Americans refer to as North America. And they were a subgroup of that group. They called themselves the Order of the Black Lotus. But regardless of what you call them, they share the hallmarks of Antifa. They are far left, pro-violent political organization. They have political aims, and they're going to use violence to get there. And this investigation, I can confidently say, was triggered as a result of the president's executive order in 2025 of September and the Attorney General's memo directing the federal government to move its resources and start looking at these groups. And that's how we discovered this group. And we were able to get an FBI undercover agent in the group so we can actually see the communications and be with them when they were preparing for that New Year's Eve attack. And then we arrested them at that time in the desert.
So, Bill, when I look at this crime scene that you guys have of all this evidence,
it's insane.
You see these explosives, you see all these, this is tough stuff. You see IED stuff, you see attack plans, you see tested devices, encrypted messages. Who's helping these people out?
It's interesting. They have these silly names. They may look silly, but they're deadly serious, and they're very sophisticated. They had written plans on how to build the pipe bombs. They were using encrypted apps. They were discussing sort of espionage techniques of how they could avert detection and avoid the FBI scrutiny. They're very sophisticated. I think these groups, they speak in chat rooms, they speak in encrypted applications, and they share information, and they're much more sophisticated than people want to believe or that people think. And again, the name sounds silly, but they are deadly serious.
Bill, I hate to do this because I don't want to compromise your investigation, but I think the public needs to be alert to this. Are we seeing more of these type of groups? Because I already know in my home state of Texas, you guys got that trans group that was trying to assassinate ICE agents, and they were planning shooting drills and all of that. So this sounds like the same type of group. Are there more across the country, not just within your district?
I mean, I think that the general reaction of this is going to be, it's safe to say that there are other groups out there, and that there are groups out there that are radicalized left and right. I just, you know what I mean? I bet his producer's in his ear, because he's got that IFB in his ear, and he's sitting there going like, hey, the producer's like, ask him if there's other ones out there. We need drama. You know what I mean? We need people to be listening and worried, scared out of their minds,
What's scary, Lawrence, is I don't think the FBI before this administration was really looking. So I don't know that we really know. And there were lots of shootings. There were school shootings, and we all speculate about what their motives are. I will say now we are laser focused at finding these groups, infiltrating these groups, and taking them down. So, of course, it's impossible to know, but you can be assured that we have the full resources and assets of the federal government looking at these groups. And if anyone sees anything online, in person, you overhear something, please report it to the FBI, tips@fbi.gov.
This is a huge win for the department as well as.
Huge win for the department, but they still can't catch their guy. They still can't get their guy in due time, in ample time. They make a lot of very, very, very public mistakes. That's the problem. This is the reason why everybody's side-eyeing the hell out of Cash Patel. Can I show you guys something? Hold on. First off, let's just make sure that this press conference has not started. And I want you guys to see proof positive that it has not started yet. Okay. It still has not started yet. But I need you guys to see something. I need you guys to see something. It's very quick. Okay. I still can't believe that this is even real. I think I just need you guys to look, just take a moment and put this in your brain for a second. Yeah, I just need to show this to y'all. Okay. First and foremost, we're sticking around we're keeping an eye on this press conference, but I want you to see what Kash Patel was doing. Now, what's hilarious to me is that they have to say what I'm going to show you guys here in a second. They put this in here after this was recorded and they put it up online. They put out a teaser. In fact, let me see if I can find the teaser, because I think the teaser would be better to see rather than where is it? Let's see. No. Where is it? I'm trying to find it. Hold on. Okay. I can't find the teaser right now, but I do want you guys to see just a snippet of this video. And one thing's for sure. Stephen Miller, you know, Dr. Evil, okay? Dr. Evil, $1 billion, Dr. Evil, Steve Miller. That's what he looks like to me. He always looks like he's pouting. He always has this pouting look on his face, Steve Miller. You know what I'm saying? And just how he talks, it's just, this is what we're going to do. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good. It is what it is. If you're a fan of Steve Miller, lo siento. But he has a wife. He has a wife, everybody. Lo and behold, this man gets laid. I didn't know this. But what's interesting is that his wife, Katie Miller, if I'm correct, went and had an interview with Kash Patel, the director of FBI, and his girlfriend. They did a freaking podcast about their relationship. This cannot be real, but it is. It is. And he's catching so much flack for this interview. You want to know why? Because people are sitting here going like, why are you so busy running around doing interviews about your love life and your relationship with your girlfriend? This is real. Than actually going out and catching the bad guys. You ain't got time to do this. But he did. He did. He took his honeypot onto a podcast. Oh, country music superstar, by the way. Country music superstar, by the way. Yeah, this is his girlfriend. People think she's a honeypot. People think that she's a spy. I'm sorry, I can't even say it. I can't even say that without laughing. I mean, I don't think she's a spy. I think they really are in a relationship. I think he's very much happy. I think he's very much having his cake and eating it too. You know what I'm saying? He's doing he got that glow. You know what I'm saying? He glowing. He happy. You know? But at the same time, and great, I'm glad that he's getting laid. Good on you for getting it on with a girl or anybody, as long as it's consensual. But what I'm trying to say is, you have better things to do than do a mother-loving interview about your love life on a podcast. Don't you find that a little bit weird? Doesn't that seem a little bit weird? Unless he's like, well, I want to get people to know her a little bit more. You know? I want people to get to know her Let's check her out. Let's get her out there so people know who the hell she is. Let's get to know. I don't even remember her name. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just don't remember her name. All I know is that she's a country music sensation. She is a superstar, according to Cash Patel. But of course, that's what you say when you're in love. You're like, oh, yes. Her voice is like an angel when it might sound like, I don't know, glass being scraped across gravel. You know what I'm saying? And I've only heard her sing 2 seconds. She sounds like a country singer. She most definitely does. Let's be real. Somebody said she looks Stop. Okay, but still, he's in love and he's happy. And, they bumping uglies, apparently. And he took the time to do this interview. And he's getting a lot of flack because he did this interview when he should be out there trying to catch the bad guy. This whole Brown University situation. But I want you guys to see this. The very beginning of this interview, which I have yet to see yet. They put this up. The interview was taped before the horrific shooting at Brown University. Why would you have to put this up? Why would you even ever remotely have to put this up on your podcast before the podcast? Because you're listening to what people are saying, and everybody and their mama's reacting to the fact that he's too busy canoodling, flying on private jets, by the way, paid for by the American people, by the way, these private jets, to go and see his girlfriend perform. Oh, let's not forget, Secret Service members and agents being made to follow her around and protect his girlfriend, not his wife, not his baby mama. No, his girlfriend. Here's the other thing, too, that they would have to go and drop off her drunk ass friends back home. By the way, on the American taxpayer dollar. This is all real. This is all happening. And it's all because of Cash Patel. Yeah. Maybe that's one of the reasons why Dan Bongino said, I'm out, I'm done, I'm tired of this ish. Maybe that's what it is. Or maybe it has to do with the fact that the Epstein files are supposed to be coming out tomorrow. And I don't think that we're going to get all of it at all. We're going to talk about that because we got time, baby. We got time. I just want to see a little bit of this because I don't know if I think I might vomit if I watch this whole thing because it just seems like, the director of the FBI laughing. This is not the time for that. He has a job to do. You see what I'm saying? The laughing and the charismatic vibes, right? That's supposed to be for the president. He's supposed to be the charismatic one, being a little cheeky every once in a while. You feel me? Not the director of the FBI. He has forever a permanent resting bee face. You see what I'm saying? Just not having it. He should have the face that Steve Miller has every single day. Real talk. Dr. Evil, right? At least in my personal opinion. Let's take a look at this though.
I'm not. You are not from Israel. No.
Right off the She said, you're not from Israel, right? No? Yes? Maybe? Sort of? Blink twice if you're a honeypot. No? Okay.
Oh. So how did we get to, are you a Mossad agent? That's a great question. Where's her ring?
It's definitely coming.
Has there been one moment where you're like, you can't make this up?
I think it's like every day.
That's enough for me. I'm done. I'm done. And there goes, and boom goes the dynamite. I'm already done. That's Steve Miller's wife doing her own podcast, interviewing Cash Patel and his boo thing. Not his wife, but his boo thing. Just so you know. Oh, her name's Alexis Wilkins. There it is. Country singer. You know? I dug my keys into the, something like that. 4-wheel drive. Country singer. There you go. So that's real. We're moving on from that, though. But he's getting a lot of heat, catching a lot of heat specifically because he was on that podcast being cute. And like I said, there's no time for you to be cute, man. Be cute when you step down from the job, when the administration changes, or if it ever does change. You see what I'm saying? Then step down from the job. And then you could be cute and funny and whatever. But it's not the time right now. This is the time that the world, our country, is under attack. There's no time to be cutesy. There's no time. Sheesh. I'm checking to see if there's any updates here. We're still waiting on this doggone press conference. Damn, it's still not happening yet. Unbelievable. 1 second, guys. Just seeing if Boston 25 has said anything yet. So they're saying Boston 25 News, apparently they have sources telling them that the search, has centered around a vehicle, like we already heard earlier, but it has centered around a vehicle of a similar make and model that was allegedly seen in the area of the M.I.T. professors unaliving in Brookline. So again, you got the same ride that was used for Brown University is being used or seen or spotted in the area where this MIT professor lost his life. Again, the ongoing question is this connected? Is any of this connected? Oh, dear Lord. Dear Lord. Lord have mercy. Let's continue. We're checking some things. We're going to see what's popping. Okay. Yeah, there's not much updates right now, which is really, 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 really frustrating. Okay. Really, really frustrating. Hold on. Let me just see if there's anything more. Hold on. Let us see here. Let us see right here. Hold on. This is nuts. Let's see here. Nope, that is something else. Let us see. Let's take a look at this. From Fox again.
Jack Jupe and former FBI investigator Bill Daley and former Las Vegas police lieutenant.
By the way, it's interesting. I have not seen anything from CNN yet. Like, I'm looking around to see if there's anything from CNN and NBC, MS Now, any of them. I haven't really seen any new updates from them about this situation at all. I find that to be interesting. I wonder why.
Sutton, thank you, gentlemen, for being with us here today. Bill Daley, we will start with you. Let's talk about this second person of interest, Bill. It seems that he is being characterized as someone who was in the proximity of the killer, may or may not have had a conversation. As the chief said, the colonel said, videos don't speak. So he doesn't know if they spoke together. But the suggestion, filling in the blanks, is that this person simply might have been a witness, with leaving open the possibility that there may be something more. But in asking this person to come forward and give us that information, it seems to be, in this case, they're looking for a witness.
Yeah, well, it certainly seems at this point that this person they don't believe was, I say, intimately involved. As you said, the offer is for the person to kind of, voluntarily come forward. I would say, Will, is that having worked in my early part of my career with the Bureau as a special photographer, I can tell you that the image of this individual, and it could probably even be further maybe enhanced as they go along, will be to compare it through facial recognition with other databases. They can compare to student databases at Brown. They can compare to DMV databases, et cetera, those are publicly available. So there may be some other angle in order to identify who this person is. But I think going back to this point is that this person is kind of collateral to the incident. The primary individual of interest is the one we've seen the other images of, but perhaps this person can lend some further detail as to maybe if there was a conversation, if he kind of saw close up who the person was to get a better description of that person, even close where he's wearing a mask, something like that.
Jack, as a supervisor of the FBI's terrorism task force, I'm tempted to ask you, what do you think law enforcement is doing right now? I do think we got some color into that in that press conference. It sounds like they are literally going door to door, trying to look at Ring video, home surveillance cameras. And it really seems to me, and I lean on you as the expert, it seems to me they're still starting from first base. They're actually looking for a lead. So I'm tempted to ask you think there's more going on behind the scenes, more advanced than we believe? Or is that evidence, as it seems to me, that we're still starting from square one?
Yeah, there definitely is, Will. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. As my former colleague, Paul Morrow said, and Paul and I have worked together since 9/11. I know Paul very well. He brings up some very good points. The first point being, somebody's going to recognize this guy. Somebody knows who this guy is. And as your other guests have said, turn yourself in. If there's an issue, there's no issue. There's no reason not to come in and say, I may be a witness. I may have seen something or heard something. That being said, if he doesn't, that's fine. But this is going much beyond. I hate to say this, but we're 5 days into this. And the fact of the matter is, this person could be overseas already. This person could be out of the country. He could be in Wisconsin. He could be in California, Mexico, South America. He could be anywhere. So the fact of the matter is, we're squaring off a small area, Will. That's not consistent with what the FBI will do. The FBI is going to expand this. You got to expand this. It's 5 days. I can get out of the country in 6 hours. In 5 days, I can be anywhere. So it's something to think about.
That is most definitely a dude. Even just how he was walking, it's definitely a man. At least that's the vibe I'm getting. That is a man, okay? For sure.
By the way, while I respect that there's a lot more going on behind the scenes, it does seem to validate my suspicion that we're not very far along in this investigation. There does not seem to be an indication that you have any strong leads to, in your example, expand this beyond a 30 square block radius around Brown University, looking for a random video that gives you that initial lead. Jack, I want to ask you about initial leads. Again, these are things that I wonder how significant these details are and how much of a contribution they will be into ultimately identifying this suspect. People have talked about, number one, his gait, Jack. Second, that two-tone jacket. I don't know how unique it is or if we can see a brand on that jacket, but those seem to be two distinguishing characteristics beyond his build. And then finally, I'm just going to lay these three things at your feet, Jack. We don't know if this was a targeted killing. There are suggestions, there are suspicions, there are questions about whether or not, for example, Ella Cook was a target in this attack. And if that's the case, wouldn't you be looking at everyone who has ever come into contact with Ella Cook? To you, Jack.
100%. And, Will, you brought up a good point about his walk, his gait. I hate to say this, I hate to bring it up, but, in the Charlie Kirk assassination, his mother turned him in because she recognized the way he walked and the way he acted, the way he moved. That is a very important thing. I know my friends. I know how they walk. I know how they talk. I know how they look. That's a very important thing. And again, you can't concentrate enough on, we need the public's help on this case. The public can come forward. There is somebody out there that knows, whether they're right there in the Providence area, Brown University, or they're in California, or they're overseas. There are people that know who this person is. And this person will make mistakes. They always do. And they're going to talk. And it's going to get out there, and we need the public's help on this. I can't exercise that opinion enough.
Yeah, because it doesn't look like we're very far down the road on identifying the perpetrator behind this horrible act at Brown University. Jack, Bill.
I mean, are we not very far behind? I don't know. Like we'll see. we'll see what happens here, but you never know, y'all. This dude could be this is weird. Here's something interesting.
We got to talk about.
This is Megyn Kelly, and the basically the title of this is saying Brown University police still haven't interviewed witnesses and more shocking incompetence after this tragedy. That is very interesting. We got to take a look at this. Why wouldn't they interview people? Why wouldn't they interview witnesses and whatnot? That doesn't make any sense. But that's weird. This doesn't make any sense. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at this. This is from Megyn Kelly.
Brown University and the shit show that is the police situation there. Here is the one piece of good news. They are saying now that they have DNA from the scene, like the killer's DNA. They said for the first time yesterday that they have some DNA on shell casings. Chief Perez told reporters that they have it. A law enforcement official familiar with the case who spoke on condition of anonymity also said that the DNA as well as fingerprints came from the shell casings. He just told reporters that they have DNA. That's what the chief said. And then on background, somebody else added it. It's on the shell casings, which is great. If that's true, that's huge. Fox News on Wednesday asked Chief Perez whether investigators were able to find live ammo on the scene. And he said investigators were able to get physical evidence. Oh yeah, we seized a few physical evidence. These are his words. And we're in the process of examining that evidence. And yes, we have some DNA that we manipulated. So it just progresses every day. And so what that means is that they're now going to run that through the federal database of perps who are already in the system and see if there are any matches. And if there aren't, then they're going to bring in a genetic genealogist like a CC Moore who can take whatever DNA relational hit they might get. Because, if I commit a crime, but I'm not in I think it's called CODIS, the system that they have, they're not going to have a match. But they might, if like my fourth cousin twice removed, if their DNA is in there, they might say, oh, the killer's fourth cousin twice removed is in here. And then you have a genetic genealogy come in here and like map out that person's whole family tree, start figuring it out. It's investigative work and figure out like who could have been at Brown University on Saturday, December X, and so on. So I do think it's great news that they have DNA, and that hopefully will help us get a name and solve it. However, if you have doubts, you are more than entitled, because they really don't know what they're doing out there. They announced yesterday, made clear, they haven't even interviewed all the students who were in the classroom where the shooting took place. They announced that it was a review course for an exam. So we're not sure who showed up and who didn't. What? Why wouldn't you just go to all students who take the class door by door and interview all of them? Why is it like, gee, I don't know. Listen here to Top 5.
Can you now explain to us 5 days later how many students were in that classroom? Can you now say how many kids were in that classroom? And did the gunman come in from the back so these people never knew it was coming? Or did he come in front with full view of everybody?
And that's all part of the interviews, and actually we're cooperating with Brown to get the roster. That was a study hall, so we don't have the number. We're still getting information as far as who was there. I know Brown sent out an email to the students to notify us if they were present, and we're still getting that, so I can't give you an exact account now.
Well, Brown said on an email, Glenn, so they're on it.
Well, I think what's amazing here, Megyn, is that, I mean, any human institution, no matter how capable you think it is going to have incompetence, is going to have mistakes, is going to have failures. And obviously that includes the police and investigators. They make mistakes all the time. But for a crime of this magnitude at one of our nation's top universities, for 11 people to have been shot, 2 of whom have been killed on campus, where everything is monitored. There are cameras everywhere, or at least there should be. It turns out apparently that there aren't for whatever reasons. There's speculation about why. When you see police incompetence on this level, it really is, it's alarming.
I still don't understand why you have a school that is a very expensive school. Okay, this is not like just a school. This is not just a university that is just like a state university or some sort of community college. No, this is a very, very prestigious university, very expensive university, and they don't even spend not one dime on security cameras just to make sure that these very expensive paying tuition matriculating kids that are going to the school, you're not going to make sure that these students are safe? Like that doesn't make any sense. Millions of dollars are poured into that school. And you also got to remember the people that are out here as well that are spending money, that are also like alumnists that are paying and that are contributing to the school as well, contributing to their alma mater. So it just doesn't make any sense that you could take millions, if not more than that, into a school. You could be raking in that dough, but you're not spending it on simple little cameras in hallways and in entrances and exits of buildings, just in case crimes happen. The fact that we're in this world, in this era now, in this world where we have assailants going onto college campuses and any school for that matter, everything from daycare all the way up to college, that they're all opening fire on everybody. Every single school should have security cameras in it, no matter what. That's it. No matter what. So it doesn't make any sense that you would do something like that. That's so idiotic for such a prestigious and smart school.
I think the other interesting aspect of it is because, I've spent a lot of time in my work on things like mass surveillance and facial recognition and all the ways that we might be surveilled. There's obviously real dangers to having mass surveillance, but in a case like this, you kind of wish that police were able to trace everybody's movements in a way that's a lot easier, and it kind of points to this conflict that we have. But I think everybody finds it inconceivable, not that there's police incompetence, but that on a case of this magnitude, of this scale, at a place like Brown, it looks like the Keystone Cops. And you really do start wondering why. Like, is this just really how incompetent they are? Or is there something about this case and like the university environment and academia and all the values that we know prevail there that are causing impediments in the investigation that's making this incompetence worse?
It's amazing to me that they have not yet interviewed all the students present, the immediate eyewitnesses to the shooting, not only because they may have identifying information about the shooter, they may be able to actually clarify what he yelled, because so far all we've heard is from that one TA who said to me it was incomprehensible, and to the students I know of, they couldn't understand what he was yelling either. Maybe some other student has a different story, and maybe a lot of these students record prep meetings. They have like one of those newfangled apps that everybody has on their phone who are college students, Glenn, where they record these things. And maybe one of those students has a whole recording of it, and the police just need to find them. Why wouldn't they get the full roster of 200 students and in one day knock on all of their doors? This is so crazy. Oh, well, they sent out an email. Oh, well, great. Okay, terrific. Because the killer's on a loose, so you might actually want to put pedal to the metal and get on this. Now, there was another sort of heated moment where the Providence mayor, who's really just the worst actor. I mean, there's a lot to choose from. The university president seems like a complete Nimrod. Not impressed at all with the police chief.
That's fired.
The AG is contradicting the Providence mayor, but the Providence mayor is the worst. He is the worst. And he's the one who's like, I don't think there's an ongoing threat. Why not? Well, because no one's been shot since Saturday. Oh, okay. Terrific.
Yeah,
I'm sure we're fine then. He was asked a question about the lack of cameras. And I have heard this from multiple people who I know who are like in the area and asking these same questions. whether the lack of cameras is somehow related to the fact that Providence is a sanctuary city, and whether there was a conscious decision to take down some of the cameras or deactivate some of the cameras so as not to get alleged illegals on camera in a way that would be used by the feds or capturable by the feds. This guy's going to ask this question. It's hard to understand him, and I'm going to summarize it when we come back. So just take a listen, see what you can glean, and then I'll clarify.
I mean, I'm sure some people are going to be looking at that and going, ooh, she got a point, right? She got a point, but nah, come on now.
What he's asking. His name is Chaz Kalanda, and he's speaking to the Providence mayor yesterday.
Sanctuary city law that we have. You don't want to record illegal immigrants, and you don't want to provide the footage to the FBI or immigration authority. One camera, and that building, it come out from your detectives. They are friends of mine. They're angry at this investigation that these people in Brown University put the camera off. They can identify that person. You imagine how the family want to go through? Tell the truth to the media here. Putting cameras off.
We heard from both the Brown police chief and the provost at Brown, who have shared that they have been fully cooperative and been forthcoming with all data and evidence that they have.
Okay, but that doesn't answer the question. Just to reiterate what the question was, because we went back and verbated it. We have a sanctuary city law here. You don't want to record illegal immigrants, and you don't want to provide the footage to the FBI or immigration authorities. One camera, and now it's come out from your detectives. They're friends of mine. They're angry at this investigation. These people at Brown University put the camera out. That's how he phrased it. They can identify that person. You imagine how the family is going through what they're going through. Tell the truth to the media. Put the cameras open. So that was our best verbated it. He's suggesting that they turned off cameras. I've heard this from others on the scene, that they believe, Providence residents, that some of these cameras were intentionally turned off for the very reasons that reporter stated. Your thoughts on it?
So, okay, first off, let me just say that is wild if that would be the case. I don't believe that to be the case, but if that was the case, that would be absolutely insane. And then now they should be able to prove that. That's the thing. Where's the proof of that? It's a very shocking claim. And if that's true, I'd want to know the truth as well. But at the same time, really now? I don't know. I don't know about all that. But, where's the proof, man? That's all I'm asking. Where is the proof, man?
There's been a lot of speculation online about what happened at Brown and also what happened with the killing that some people think might be related of this nuclear physicist who was also killed at MIT. At MIT, right? Exactly. And a lot of the speculation, some of it turned out to be false. Others of it turned out to be very unfounded. And a lot of people are saying, not unreasonably, that one of the problems with this kind of online sleuthing is that it often leads to politically motivated speculation or things. Okay, I agree with that. I do think that's an issue. The reason that happens, though, is because of the inability or refusal of people in power and in authorities to answer the most basic questions, to give us the most basic information about a crime that, of course, is of great concern to huge numbers of people and ought to be. And it's in that vacuum of like this evasive kind of answer, this refusal to give any kind of, to be accountable in any way, that citizens start thinking, we can't trust the police. We can't trust investigators. Mm-hmm. They lied to us. They're incompetent. They cover things up. And this is why you see so much of this kind of doubting, like with the Charlie Kirk shooting or with any kind of crime, any kind of major event where people no longer trust institutions of authority. And I think in that exchange, you see the reason. Like, if that's the reason they turned off the cameras, say so. Were the cameras turned off? Like, why can't you just give straight answers on that? And when we don't get those, that's when people start thinking we have to figure out on our own, and we can't trust the information we're being given. And although it can be a problem because it leads to false speculation that spreads like wildfire, it's also the fault of the people who are supposed to be exercising this power responsibly when they do things that make the other people lose trust in what they're saying.
Thank you. What he just said right there is absolute facts. facts. I'm just going to be real. That is hard facts. What he just said is absolutely right. I agree with 110%. They have ample opportunities to sit there and go, nope, what you guys are saying right there is absolutely wrong. Your theory about the cameras being turned off because this is a sanctuary and, you know, a sanctuary town and blah, blah, blah. They could easily just go up and say, hey, shut up in the back. It's not true. Whatever you're saying, whatever that crap is coming out your mouth, it's not true. But they're not saying that either. But see, that's the problem. They're not confirming. They're not denying. They're not squashing that BS right out the gate. Why? Because for some odd reason, we live in a world where everything is being on the hush hush. Everything's being withheld from the public. And then what happens? What happens? Conspiracy theories become trendy. Yes, I said it. Conspiracy theories now are a trend. Now it's the popular thing. Now it's the cool thing to do, to go against what the authorities are telling us. Why? Because the authorities made that bed, baby. That's why. The authorities and the higher ups, the elected officials and the powers that be are the ones that are supposed to sit there and say, hey, no, you guys got it all wrong. Here's exactly what went down. Here's all the evidence. Here are the freaking receipts. So all y'all, even those in the nosebleed seats, wearing your tinfoil hats and getting your Candace Owens ons, y'all can shut up. Here's all the evidence. Shut up. But that doesn't happen. They don't say anything. And guess what? Even the most level-minded individual starts looking at that tinfoil hat and going, well, it is one size fits all. It might look good on my head. And then they start wearing it and it looks weird, but it seems to fit because it's answering the burning questions that are lingering in the brain. Those bees in the bonnet that just keep buzzing around and you can't swat them, that you can't get rid of them. They just keep coming back because you're not getting the answers that you rightfully freaking deserve. Conspiracy theories have turned into a trend. I'm telling you right now. Conspiracy theories have now become trendy. I'm sorry. Just like, you know, Christianity now has become a trend. Conspiracy theories have become a trend. Now, any person with a conspiracy theory, they don't look crazy anymore. That's just a sign of the times now. So if anybody's sitting there going, yeah, what had happened with Charlie Kirk is it was them aliens. And I'm not talking about the ones that are crossing the border. I'm talking about the ones that are flying on rocks. That 3-eye AI Atlas thing. That's what we dealing with, baby. Aliens, baby. Nanu, baby. Mork and Mindy, aliens, baby. And then everyone's going, yeah, true that, true. I see that, though. I see that, son. Yeah, baby. You right. It's that one-eyed, one-horn, flying purple people eaters kind of stuff going on. That's what's going on right here. We got aliens on Earth right now, baby. That's true, though. And I'm not talking about that Justin Trudeau. You know what I'm saying? That's true, though. Bruh, I never thought of it like that. When in actuality, if conspiracy theories weren't trendy, we'd all be side-eyeing them being like, sit down. The hell's wrong with you? We already have all the facts. Shut up. Shut your mouth. Shut it. But we don't do that. We don't do that now. Everyone's like, oh, so that could be right, though. That could be right, though. Oh, I never thought of it like that angle. Maroon shirts? Get out of here. Bruh, my face is melting off my face. I can't believe this ish. Because conspiracy theories are now just part of life. And that's really sad. It's really sad. It all comes down because we're not getting enough information. They tell us information, but then they only give us un petit morceau just a little crumb, and then they go on, be happy, be happy with the information. We got the bad guy. We got the bad guy. Here's some text messages. Here's the rifle. What more do you need? Shut up. But unfortunately, people are sitting here going, wait, please answer the questions that we're asking you guys, but you're not answering them. And they've had plenty of opportunities to tell all of us to shut the hell up with facts, and they're not doing that. So then what happens? We resort back to what I just said a second ago. Conspiracy theories become a mother-loving trend. It's frustrating, but it is the dumb truth, though. Okay? This is the world that we are living in. I don't know what else to tell you guys. All right, we are still here waiting for this thing to go on, and this press conference has not happened yet. I do need to use the restroom, okay? I'm going to be completely real. I'm going to go use the restroom really quick wait a second, there might be some commotion here that maybe they're going to be doing something. Hold up.
Hey, thank you for your patience. Right now, we currently do not have a time.
Oh my God!
I'm up here to let you know that I am going to give everyone at least a 20-minute notice before the press conference. We're having a press conference tonight, no matter what. I'm going to give you 20 minutes before. It's going to be in your email. I'm going to start calling and texting you in case you miss it. 20 minutes. We'll have a heads up. Right now, I do not have a time.
He doesn't have a time, so 20.
I don't have an approximate time. I'm sorry.
He just said it 3 times. This is stupid. This is stupid. But let me tell you something, y'all. The fact that they're like, we don't know what time it is that we're going to do this. We're doing it no matter what. We're going to do it. But I'll give you a 20-minute heads up before it goes down. I don't know, guys. I might just end the live and then come back when the press conference actually does happen. Shoot. Erica Kirk is supposed to be speaking at America Fest tonight, and that happens in about that's supposed to start in about like 25 minutes from now. There's been a lot going on with that. We still have a whole thing. We still got to check out this whole thing with Piers Morgan and Candace Owens, because we have got to see that interview. Oh my God, it is not good. It is it's not great. It's not great for those who are still on the fence about certain things. That one, it's an interesting conversation. And I know some people are like, yeah, you get Pierce, girl. Go get her, Candy. And then some others are like, yo, she is falling apart. You see what I'm saying? She is falling apart. Now, wait a second. General Genobi just said Scanner is reporting DOA. Whoa. Okay. Hold up. No. Yeah, and that's true. All those things, Kyla, we could just replay later. But you understand that every single time, like I've been meaning to do it's already too late now. I'm not doing it anymore now, but I was going to do the Erica Kirk town hall meeting. And but the news keeps on happening. I mean, if there's one mass tragedy after another, then you had Rob Reiner losing his life and his wife losing his life. Let's not forget that. It's also his wife too. Okay, losing their life with all that information involved in that, around that. The news has been nonstop. The mass tragedies like this, assailants still on the run, Nick Reiner's stuff it's just been nonstop. Then conservative podcasters getting in their fee-fees and having cat fights literally via internet for everyone to see. It's just been nuts. All right. And so I have a lot of questions or a lot of, I have a lot of questions in regards to all this. I have a lot of questions about and theories or not theories, but thoughts on the Candace Owens stuff for sure. But part of it has to do with this part of this has to do with the Piers Morgan thing. The Piers Morgan thing is absolutely crazy. So I don't know. I've been thinking about maybe just doing like one big fat live, like just do a one big show, nonstop, one big show where we're able to just crush everything. Well, not everything, but like, if there's something breaking news, we talk about it right then and there. We're live. If something breaks, we talk about it right then and there. You see what I'm saying? And we can still have an opportunity to cover all these other things that are going on, because there's so much going on, man. There's so much going on, and I don't know how I can catch up with everything. Like I said, there is so much stuff. I get done with one thing, something else happens while I'm still wrapping up and saying, bye, guys. Something's happening right then and there. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, sometimes there's not enough time to even just go take a potty break. It's that insane, So I'm just trying to cover as much as I can. You know what I mean? So yeah. Combination show. I've been thinking about that. I've done it in the past, Belinda. I've done it in the past, but it is something I've thought about like a lot, especially now that like, stuff like this, moments like this where you're waiting for a press conference and it's not happening or it's not happening yet. You're like, dang, well, I could use this. I can set this time to just sit here and just talk about the assailant, but there's only so much you can do. There's only so much story you can stretch on with it. You know what I mean? But then it's like, okay, we still have the Piers Morgan stuff. We still got this. We got that. We got all this other stuff that's going on that deserves some light under the sun as well. So like I said, I'm just trying to cover everything as best as I can, as quickly as I can, but like I said, there's just so much going on. Now hold on. So again, like we were talking about before, they're just kind of just refreshing the Facebook page for Boston 25, just so you guys know. And it says here, sources tell Boston 25 that that the search in Salem, New Hampshire, has centered around a vehicle of a similar make, like we already talked about before. So they're still trying to they're still doing everything they can to actually catch this assailant. I don't know if anything about a DOA, but I'm going to look up and see if there's anything about that, about a, dead on arrival type of situation, which that is very possible that the assailant may not be alive anymore. That is still a good possibility, or the assailant has been caught. So let me take a look here. Okay. Let's see. And I still want to know, because here's the thing. I would hope that this guy is still alive. The reason why I say that is because I'd really want to know what the connection is. Why are two students losing their lives, multiple people getting injured, and then this college professor, this M.I.T. professor, losing his life? What is the connection? Why? There's got to be a connection. What is that connection, right? Yeah, so they're still saying, I mean, if there is something about them saying that there's a like a DOA type of situation, I'm not seeing any of that so far, but we will see. Yeah, I want you guys to see this. This is just ridiculous. I don't know how this is normal, but I need you guys to see this. This has to do with the situation with the search. But this is at Brown University. These are FBI agents kicking snow. No lie. They are seriously kicking snow. I was just talking about this. This is optically terrible. Look at that. Procedure? You can
see them, that they're kicking the snow out of the way, methodically looking step by step, looking to see if there's any.
Methodically looking step by step. No. Yeah, it does look like there's line dancing. You know what I mean? It does look like that. But what is this? What is this? This is not methodical. Sorry, methodic. This isn't methodic. I feel like that's the name of a perfume or something. Methodique. But still, who does this? This is normal? This is normal?
Thing in the snow at all that can help point them in the right direction in this investigation. And if you look over across the street, Seth, for those of us just show, let me see right over here. There's that team as well. They're doing the exact same thing across the street.
Yeah, right, Gene.
Right now at the FBI,
Where are the red Solo cups?
who is gathered there as part of the investigation. And John, at times we've seen them with actual rakes combing through some of the snow-covered ground there.
I would take rakes over their damn feet. Do you understand? This is weird. That's weird. I would take a rake over this crap any day.
The shrubs, some of the trees, they're obviously looking in very specific areas. Again, this is live, watching the FBI combing through, obviously looking
This
for
is
any
not normal.
bit of evidence to further this investigation live out of Providence, Rhode Island, John.
Yeah, anything that the gunman might have dropped or tossed on his way out of the building as he went walking down the street, because that's right in the area there where the surveillance camera got a picture of him, where our Brian.
You realize that this is something that people do if they lost their keys. You feel me? Or they dropped their glasses in the snow. Somebody really drunk lost their walking out, dropped their keys to their home or something like that, and they're kicking the snow so they can find the damn keys. But this does not look normal, y'all. This is not normal, baby.
Yanis has been dutifully reporting from.
Okay, so we're going to continue watching this. John, obviously, as that community and those students have been shaken to their core, the school and the local police are urging vigilance, obviously, in the area.
That is just weird. Okay? Long story short, that is just weird. How is that normal? That is not normal. Let me just say that. That, to me, is not normal. All right? But like I said, I guess that's how they operate out there with the FBI. Still, no matter what, I just yeah, I don't see anything about well, hold on. Let me just see one more place before we continue. I am quite curious. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, there's no real updates. Again, law enforcement sources tell Ted Daniel that at least one facet of the manhunt from the Brown University situation has moved to north of Boston to New Hampshire. That's literally all they've been saying so far. Salem, New Hampshire. And that is as of the last hour or so. I'm looking to see if there's anything here. But still, like I said, there's other things that we need to talk about. There is something I do want to bring up, though, while we are here. Okay. I'm trying to kill a little bit of time, but like I said, I might hop off so I can get some food and all that and be right here ready for the press conference when the press conference actually goes down. But there is something very interesting. I want to remind you, okay, and I know this might be a little bit of a left turn, okay, but again, I just, Joanne, I made you, I gave you a flashback. Yeah, like I said, again, going out there, you drop your keys and you're doing the kick, or you don't even have to be drunk. You could literally just be, you may just be a little, You know, like you may just have a bad back, but you just drop the keys. You're like, dang, where are my keys at? And it's a snowy night. You're just like, damn. And you just kick with your feet because you can't get down on your, bend over. You got a bad back. That L4, L5 be just firing off. You know what I'm saying? You know exactly what I'm talking about. All right. So nonetheless, those things do happen. Now, here's something that's very interesting. Tomorrow is a very big day. Let me explain. Tomorrow's very, very big day. Very big day. Tomorrow, the Epstein files are supposed to drop like it's mother-loving hot. Now, here's the thing. Let me just remind you. Yesterday, we saw Trump on he did his little speech, which obviously all of us were waiting for him to say, we are going to war with Venezuela. That's what we're going to do. But he didn't do that. Now, did he? I think he didn't do it. I think he didn't mention it because everybody was predicting that he was going to say it. So I think he was like, nope. I need everybody to remember how amazing I am and how much I stopped 8 wars and Biden is poo-poo. Yes, Biden. That's what I think. Because I think he wants to possibly remind everybody how dope he is so he can soften the blow of the Epstein files, or he knows exactly what's going to happen with those Epstein files, like they're not fully going to be released. Therefore, everybody and their mama's going to lose their mother-loving marbles, and he's going to be like, but guys, remember what I did. Amazing things. Huge things. Wait for it. I'm giving everybody who's in the military $1776 as a check. If you're in the military, you're actually getting a stimmy. $1776, $1,776. Yes, he said it. Any person that's in the military is getting a nice little check. Now, let me just say this. I know some people are going to be like, woo, yes. Thank God I'm in the reserve, whatever it may be, right? Thank God I'm in the Air Force. Yeah, baby, let's go. 1776, biatch, right? Me, I'm like, that's not enough. I'd be impressed if it was like $5,000. Oh, I'll be cartwheeling for that. I'll be, thank you for this extra $5,000. A little over $1,700. Don't get me wrong. I would still be grateful, but I'm not going and partying out here and be like, woo, we about to go crazy. No. Do you know how much rent and mortgages and all that is? That doesn't even scratch the surface on some of these cribs. Come on now. Come on. So again, he's like, look at all the great things I've done. Biden is a piece of trash. He's poo-poo. I've stopped 8 wars. Inflation is going down, which it's not. Food prices are going down, which it has not. He says a whole bunch of stuff that are not true because he wants to remind everybody that he's been a great president. He's like, Santa, I've been a real good boy. When actually he hasn't been. Solely because those Epstein files are coming out tomorrow. And if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do tomorrow, and if they go, we just go put out like 10 pages a day. You really think the American people are going to be happy about that? No, don't worry. I'll wait. Go ahead. You think the American people are going to be cool with that? Like, really, you think they'll be cool with all that? Go ahead. Yes? No? Will there be fire and brimstone out there in these streets? Go ahead, comment. Go ahead. No, people are not going to be happy about that. People are not going to be happy about that. But of course, he's like, wait a second, I'm going to give you guys in the military money. Oh, remember what he said? Remember that day when he said he was going to give all of us money because of the tariffs? Them tariff-ifs. Remember that? Yeah. Where's that? So now it went from the American people that make a certain amount of money underneath a certain amount of money, you know, a certain threshold. Yeah, he said $2,000 to everyone. Because my tariffs are so amazing, of the likes you've never seen. You all get $2,000. Great. Where's that? His trying to do his voice makes me cough. But where is it though? Yeah, I ain't got nothing. But he's like, before Christmas, military, people who serve in the military are going to get $1,776. That's what he's doing. Okay. But he said all these great things are coming and have happened. I think he said all of that to lay the groundwork because he knows he's about to disappoint majority of the American people. Sure, I still see people out there going, he's my president, MAGA for life. He can do no wrong, blah, blah, blah. They're like, I don't care what you say. Say what you want to say, but he has done great things. He is dope. He is amazing. He is my rock star president, right? And that's fine. That's fine. No judgment here. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of people are not seeing the forest through the trees. You feel me? But there's already been a press conference. Chuck Schumer held a press conference with some other House Democrats and basically said, listen, if you don't put this stuff out, you're going to be in some serious trouble, Trump. You better get that stuff out. You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Those Epstein files better be coming out. It's your ass. That's basically what they're saying. But here we go with another representative saying what they're saying too.
Is the deadline for Pam Bondi to release the Epstein files. That is what Thomas Massey and my bill calls for. It passed this body 427-1, passed the Senate 100-0, and the president signed it. Now, 3 federal judges have ordered the release of all of these files in Maxwell and Epstein's grand jury. Here is the reality. Any Justice Department official who does not comply with this law will be subject to prosecution for obstruction of justice. If Pam Bondi does not comply with the law, she will be held either in inherent contempt of Congress or subject to impeachment. We will not rest until the law is complied with and justice is served.
Yeah, guys. Again, like I said before, they are all anticipating the release of these files. And if the files don't come out, there are going to be a lot of angry people in the House. There's going to be a lot of people angry outside of the House. So he has to put them out. Pam Bondi has to release those files. And here's the other thing. This is the other reason why I feel that the someone like Dan Bongino is kicking rocks, because he knows that the wave of anger and torment and ridicule and judgment is coming if those files do not come out tomorrow. Why would he drop out? Unless something else is going on that we don't know. Because I get it. You know, the microphone is very tempting. Okay. The camera and the microphone and just doing what you love. No, I'm not here to protect my country. I'm here to talk on this microphone and entertain and keep spouting rhetoric for the buck. Okay. That's fine. If you found your calling and your true calling isn't being the deputy director of the FBI, fine. But it is a little weird that you're not willing to ride that out, finish your time during the Trump administration, during his time, and then just leave honorably when the 4 years are up. You want to know why? Because I think something is definitely up. Nope, I'm not sitting here saying that there's some sort of terror attack or something catastrophic that's about to go down and he's like, I gotta go be with my family before it hits the fan. No, I truly think whatever ish that's going to hit the fan has everything to do with the information that we're all waiting on at bated breath tomorrow. And if those things do not get dropped, it's not only going to be Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Donald J. Trump. It will also be on his head too, Dan Bongino. Think about that. Think about it. It's going to be bad. I hope to God, I hope so much that prediction is wrong and everything for the most part is redacted. And the only things that are redacted are the names of the victims that do not want their names out there. Fine. Redact those names. Release everything. Let it all hang out. Let the truth prevail. That's all I want. And I think that's what we all want. But that address, that press conference that he did yesterday, whoo, weird. Very weird. Because honestly, he could have said all of that in a mother-loving Truth Social post. Oh, am I wrong? That could have been a lengthy Truth Social post. Really. We've already heard all those things before. Every single last one of those things we've heard before. I've stopped 8 wars. Biden is terrible. We've heard all that over and over again. With all due respect, I know somebody like that my man. That is my man. Okay? Don't you dare talk about Trumpy Trump. Fine. If that's how you feel, fine. But I'm telling you right now, I'm going to call like I see it. And if he came out here guns blazing like fire, he just came out with just facts and he's like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make America great again. And I'd be like, dope. Let me see it. Show us, baby. Show us. Say less, bro. I want us to win. But if you're coming out with the same rhetoric that we've seen and heard over and over and over and over and over again, even in Truth Social posts, like I said, anytime that there's some sort of flack that he gets, he comes out with all of that. The same stuff. 8 wars. Inflation down. Milk is not expensive anymore. It's going down, everybody. It's going down. You see what I'm saying? Something is up. Something is up. Let's not forget, you got an armada surrounding the coast of Venezuela as we speak. So, let me ask you something, okay? Are we in war with Venezuela or no? Anybody? Because that's kind of what should have been asked or talked about and addressed last night, but it wasn't, though. It was just the same rhetoric that he does when he's in trouble. Please hear me out. Use your brain. Use that beautiful, beautiful, big brain of yours for 2 seconds. Haven't you noticed that anytime there's some sort of issue, some sort of problem where he's getting looked at, the public's going like this, Trumpy, like that, he suddenly goes, 8 wars. It's all Biden's fault. It's the Democrats. It's a hoax. It's a hoax. Doesn't he do that? It's a pattern. He did it last night with no reason that I know of. I mean, the things that are going on in Venezuela is very interesting. Yes, they have a whole lot of oil down there. A whole lot of oil. Why do you think they're going down there? Has nothing to do with Fenty. Has nothing to do with the fentanyl or yayo. No. And he's like, even Colombia, the production of cocaine is going to stop. You're bad. You're going down, Colombia. We're watching you. There's something else going on over there. Has nothing to do with the yayo. There's something else going on in Colombia. I'm sorry. Remember, conspiracy theories are a trend? That's my theory. Because clearly Venezuela, it's all about that oil. And my dogs are fighting each other because they know that I'm about to get feisty up in this mother lover. Okay. But hear me out. We already know. We're not dumb, everybody. We are not dumb. And the people, the American people, and his own constituents caught him going boom, boom on boats, being like, oh, yeah, they're definitely moving fentanyl. That's what they're doing. But just completely obliterate it. And then what happened? They got caught. So now they're trying different tactics. You feel me? But even when he was getting, looked at side-eyed the entire time, he was coming out with 8 wars. Biden is terrible. Democrat hoax, etc. Like I said, if Trump is out here and we are winning as a country and he's leading the win, I'm cheering him on. I'm doing that crazy like Jersey Shore fist bump. Okay? Wow, that's a deep cut. But I'll do it with all the passion in my heart. But patterns, everybody. You can see the pattern. He said that speech last night for no reason whatsoever. In fact, I'm watching the whole thing and I go, wait, so that's it? I'm not kidding. Usually I'm waiting for him to talk for like an hour and a half. He stuck to script. He stuck to script. He read the teleprompter and he did not stray. He strayed for like a second. Because it'd be like, oh, yeah, of the likes you've never seen. And then it goes on to the next thing. But he didn't stay too long. He didn't talk for an hour and a half. Wow, what's going on? He was reading the script. What's up with that? And it was the same crap he says in tweets. There's a pattern. There's a pattern. And I feel like something's about to happen. That's not going to be great. I already knew that he wasn't going to say, we're going to war with Venezuela. As soon as he said, I stopped 8 wars. As soon as he said that, I go, yeah, he's not going to talk about that. Because it doesn't make any sense. Why would he say in the same breath, I stopped 8 wars and we're going to war with Venezuela? Everybody would be like, you're a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? So he's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. Come on now. He's not going to do that. Crazy, right? So he's like, no, everyone knows, everyone thinks I'm going to say something, but I'm not going to say it. But I will say I stopped these 8 wars, and inflation is down, and gas prices are down, and the gas prices are not down. I have not seen prices go down. He said something. Yeah, I do not believe there's any $1, like less than $2 gas. I ain't never seen that. I haven't seen that in years. I really haven't seen that in years. Yeah, I haven't seen that anything like that. I haven't seen that since I haven't seen that in a long ass time. Grocery prices are not down. You want to go get a hamburger somewhere? That has not gone down. Okay, everything's expensive still. So when he says huge deals, things are changing, it hasn't changed, baby. I'm sorry, it hasn't. But then he blanketed the whole thing by saying, I'm going to give you guys $1,776, or $1,776. See, ooh, I'm going to wave money in your face. See what's going on? Don't look at the burning building behind me. There's nothing to see there. Look at this money I'm fanning in your face. It's free. It's tax-free. But we don't know if that's tax-free, though. We don't know if we're going to have to pay for it later. So anyway, Just something to think about. That conversation, that press conference that he had was trash. Sorry. Not sorry. But all of us have been fooled many times before. And so now we should be able to read the room, you know, with all due respect. And it's not just Trump. I'm even saying Biden, too. I'm even saying Obama. I'm even saying every politician we've ever had in our face going, no more new taxes. That stuff, you know, and we all get excited like, oh, we're going to vote for him. And then they don't do a damn thing. In fact, they add more taxes. You know, it's like fool me once. Shame on you. Can't get fooled again. Yeah. Look at the patterns, y'all. The patterns are real. They do exist. But here's the thing. I'm going to jump off so I can eat dinner, get some food in my belly, use the restroom and all that stuff. But then when this press conference does get back up and running, I will try to be here for that. There's a lot I'm trying to cover tonight, or would like to cover tonight. So hopefully this press conference will happen soon, and it will be short. But then after that, we will be able to do a little watch party and discuss some other things that are going on in the world. Okay, guys? So that is the show. I appreciate you guys for being here. It really means a lot. All right. I'll be back in a little bit. Oh, shoot. Forgot about this. Professor, thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. Perp will prove to be Muslim grad student in engineering. If that is the case, that'll be very interesting. I will tell you that. That'll be very interesting if that's the case. But we don't know everything yet. Okay? We don't know everything yet. But when we do know something, I'm sure they're going to be saying that and identifying the assailant tonight. So stick around. I'll be back in a little bit for this. These press conferences have been wild, have been very weird and frustrating. But we will talk about it when we are ready. When they are ready, I mean, okay? So please do me a favor, hit that like button down below, crush it, do, hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Subscribe. All right? That'd be greatly appreciated. Don't forget, check out the Pascal Show clips, Pascal Raw. Subscribe to those channels as well. Hit that Patreon or hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out that Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. All right, guys? We'll be talking here very, very soon. Much love to you guys. When the press conference gets back on, we'll be back on. All right? Talk to you guys soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.